Good morning, class. Miss Caruso here. I'm sorry that I could not be live during this time, but I will be available to answer any questions if you just want to go ahead and comment in the reply button below. This is going to be posted. It will take you, as you already know, if you're clicking on this video, it took you to YouTube. What you're going to go ahead and do is follow my directions. It's just like if Miss Caruso was with you right now and you guys were on the computer and I'm just walking you through exactly what your steps are for today. Okay, so today we're going to go ahead and start off with our reading. Now our reading is on iReady. Our reading is on iReady. However, this is a teacher assigned blue lesson. It is a close read. Okay, which means that it's going to be about an hour long. But we have told you numerous times we do not want you to be on the computer for more than 2 to 3 hours a day. Okay, that's for your education part. Okay, so your assigned lesson today, it's your teacher assigned, it's comparing and contrasting text. Okay, so you're going to do part 1, which is probably about your big question 1 today, and then you can do your big question 2 and 3 tomorrow. And for those that are listening, you know the big questions are those stopping points in iReady, and we'll go ahead and talk about that a little bit more in a second. The second thing today is Wednesday, your writing prompt. Today you are going to finish the story using your own creativity. Now, some of you on Monday put your writing prompt on paper, and I told your parents that's awesome. That's a great way for you guys to continue practicing your handwriting and also get your thoughts out on paper, kind of like a plan, before you go ahead and you type it into the computer. But the prompt itself, when you're done writing it, you need to go ahead and have it typed into Writing City where this prompt is, and this should be on your home page. Okay, I will start the story and you will have to write what happens next. So you're going to be using your own creativity. You're going to write what happens next and at the end. So one day I was walking home when I saw a box and I heard a voice coming from the box say, "Help!" So I opened the box and suddenly, what happens after that? Suddenly, and that's when your creativity needs to take over. Suddenly there was a pop and a bunny rabbit jumped out. Then the bunny rabbit jumped down the road. I chased after the bunny rabbit. It went into my best friend's yard and started laying purple popping eggs. Do you see where I'm going with this? You want to go ahead and you want to make a great story, okay? Use your creativity for suddenly I was walking home when I saw a box and heard a voice coming from the box say, "Help!" So I opened the box and suddenly, and that's where your creativity takes off from there. I just gave you the starter. Okay, and our independent reading today, Miss Caruso is going to read chapter 12, and you guys need to go ahead and complete Wednesday's box on our form in Teams. Now, if you're still having trouble getting there, a couple of you haven't logged on yet to do that, please go ahead and put a reply message saying you're not sure how to do that. And I will go ahead and try to give you some screenshots so you can at least visually see how to get there. Now we're going to go ahead and go over. So I told you that you're going to have part 1 and part 2 today, and I want you guys to really think about that. Part 1 is going to be today, and part 2 is going to be tomorrow. So we're going to go ahead and for iReady, you are comparing and contrasting two texts. Comparing and contrasting two texts. Comparing and contrasting the most important parts in two texts on the same topic will help you learn more about the topic. So how I kind of told you guys we're going to be comparing and contrasting when we get to read both Peter Pan and Nim's Island. Since they're both adventures, they have some comparisons, but they're also different stories, so they're going to be contrasting as well. So compare means similar, and contrast, yep, you guessed it, means different. Okay, not similar, different. So some words that we want to look out for: compare, contrast, and important points. Important points. Okay, When you compare texts, you tell how they are alike, comparing how they are alike, how they are similar. When we think about shades of meaning, we would have alike, similar, and then comparisons. Okay, because they're stronger, they can go stronger in your synonyms for your words. When you contrast text, you tell how they are, different. Comparing and contrasting the most important points in two texts on the same topic helps you learn more about the topic. Okay, so when you're reading about the same topic, the overall topic, let's say, is nature, and you're reading two different texts, you can go ahead and take those two different texts and see how they're similar and see how they're different, because it's going to help you build your knowledge. Because the one text may have not have told you about a little detail that the other did. And when you go ahead and you think about it, just like when I pause to think about our reading, it gives you that chance to go and go, okay, you know what, I did learn that. And sometimes we just have to do that. I know it's weird to take a pause in some of our reading, but we really do need to do that, because otherwise we're just reading through it so quickly and we're just trying to get through it, and then we don't realize what we just read. And that's not going to be helpful when you're going ahead and trying to either answer questions or just gain information just to be more knowledgeable as a student. Look at these two posters. So we have two posters here, just like if we had two texts. How are they alike and how are they different? Okay, so poster 1. On poster 1, I see that there is 3 kids. They're planting, and the text down at the bottom says, "Take care of planet Earth. Plant a tree." Ooh, I love that one. You know, Miss Crusoe loves nature. Okay, so the first one, poster 1, they're planting a tree. It says, "Take care of planet Earth, plant a tree." Now on poster 2, it says, "Take care of planet Earth. The animals will thank you." So I have to plant, so what it's telling me is I should plant a tree, and it's good for the animals. So there's animals in a forest if I plant a tree. Okay, so they have similarities. I see that, but they're also different. One way they're different, well, they're not the same poster, so that's a given. Another way that they're different is that this one's telling us what to do. Poster 1 is telling us what to do. Plant a tree to take care of the planet. And poster 2 is saying why we should take care of the planet is because animals, we share the planet with animals. It gives us the why. Okay. Both of these posters talk about nature, so that's how they are similar. And both of these pictures go ahead and they say take care of planet Earth. So there's multiple things that are similar and there are multiple things that are different. But overall, we know that this is trying to go ahead and let us know to take care of our planet, and animals and trees and anything in nature would benefit our planet. Okay. So we can easily see it in a poster, but sometimes it's not as easy as that to spot in our readings. Okay. Both say to take care of our planet Earth. Yes. So this is called a Venn diagram. Now, we have done one of these in class together before. And today on iReady, you might see a Venn diagram like this as well, or tomorrow. Look again at the posters. Use the Venn diagram below to compare and contrast the important points in each poster. So the first important point that both posters had that sentence, "Take care of planet Earth." Both of those posters had that, so that is the similarity between them. And that's going to go in that section that combines poster 1 and poster 2. Okay, then over here on our Venn diagram, these outer circle parts, those are going to be the ones where we're contrasting, telling how they are different. So on poster 1, it says plant a tree. People should plant a tree. Okay, it's telling us what to do. And I'm using the evidence from it. So that's what I'm using the exact evidence from the text to put in this chart. And then on poster 2, it says animals in a forest. Okay, so it's showing us animals in a forest. People should think about animals. And it's telling us why we should go ahead and take care of our planet, and it's because those animals will thank us. Okay. So today, that's just a general understanding, a very clear, basic understanding of comparing and contrasting a text. And that's what you're going to be doing today. You're going to be reading to compare and contrast texts. And the two texts that you are going to see today are the Three Billy Goats Gruff, and we have heard this story before in our classroom, and the Three Armadillos Tough. Gruff, tough, well, those rhyme, and they're both three, so there's a couple things I can take from that. You're going to be assigned the blue lesson. Again, you're going to be doing, this still says Monday and Tuesday. I mean Wednesday and Thursday here, okay? So Wednesday, you're going to go ahead and do this part of the lesson, the big question. What is the biggest problem for both? So you're thinking about the problem for both the billy goats and the armadillos, okay? Both the billy goats and the armadillos. So you're trying to figure out what the problem of both stories is, and I have a feeling that they're going to be very similar. Their problems are going to be similar. Maybe not exactly the same, but very similar. Okay, and then tomorrow you're going to read to analyze. You'll do big question number 2 and big question number 3. Please, please, please remember this is broken up into 2 days. Today is Wednesday, you're going to do big question number 1. Tomorrow is Thursday, you will do big question number 2 and 3. Do not do the whole thing today. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and close out of that and go over to our next topic, and that is actually our reading of Peter Pan. Okay, so we left off yesterday with Peter Pan being a little upset, but he didn't want to show it, that Wendy, Michael, and John are wanting to go back home because when Wendy was telling a story about a mother always leaving the window open, she got scared as she was telling her own story, that her mother may not always leave that window open, because Peter said that when he tried going back, his mother had the window closed. And so that made all of them want to go ahead and head back to their home with Mr. and Mrs. Darling. However, as soon as they were ready to leave, what happened? Yep, you guessed it. Okay. What happened was the pirates and the Indians, who, yes, occasionally fight, were fighting right above the Lost Boys' cave. And so that didn't allow them to leave. The plan was off. They would not leave yet. Keyword there, yet. Let's see what happens now that they can't leave and they know that the Indians and the pirates are fighting. Chapter 12, Peter Pan, Extremely Happy Hook. The pirate attack was a complete surprise. Hook had broken all of the rules and the pirates and the Indians normally follow when they fought. He attacked in neither the time nor the place that was allowed. When it was over, almost all of the Indians were injured. Only Tiger Lily managed to escape unharmed. Finished with the Indians, the pirates still could not rest. It was, after all, not the Indians they had come for. The Indians were just bees to be smoked out so they could get to the honey. Randall might know a little bit about that. Sometimes to get to the honey in a hive, you have to go ahead and smoke out the bees. It doesn't kill them. It just kind of makes them go away for a little bit so you can go ahead and get in and disorients them so you can get to the honey, the good part. And so the good part for the pirates is who? Who are they trying to get to? Who's the honey in this case? If you are thinking the Lost Boys, you are correct. The pirates wanted the Lost Boys and Wendy, and most of all, Peter Pan. Peter was an awfully small boy to inspire such a big hatred in Hook, even if he had thrown Hook's hand to the crocodile. But there was something about him that enraged Hook. It was more than Peter's courage or his cuteness. It was his cockiness, his absolute confidence in himself. This is something many children have, but most grown-ups have lost entirely. Perhaps Hook had lost some of his too and wanted it back. So you guys might feel like you have confidence, and confidence is something where you go ahead and you believe that you are able to do things and you can achieve, and you can, okay? And so Hook is very, very jealous of this. I think he's also a very jealous character because he wants that. He wants to know, I can do anything. The question was, how could the pirates get down the hollow trees, which were perfectly sized to allow each individual lost boy down, but no one else? Below, the boys were still trying to figure out who had won the battle. If it was the Indians, they reasoned, they will beat their tom-tom drums. It was always their sign of victory. Perched at the edge of the hollowed trees, up above, the pirates heard this. Smee happened to be sitting on a tom-tom, which Hook ordered him to beat immediately. After a moment of confusion, Smee understood and smiled. Why did he ask him to go ahead and bang on that tom-tom drum? Yep, you got it. They wanted to trick the Lost Boys. So if they heard the tom-tom, they said they would know the Indians won and they would be able to come out. So if Hook goes ahead and beats a tom-tom drum, then the boys are going to come out and then they can go ahead and catch him. Bang, bang, bang went the tom-tom drum. The tom-tom, the pirates heard Peter cry, "The Indians have won! Let's go up and celebrate with them." The Lost Boys cheered, and Hook ordered his men to take their positions and get ready for the boys to come up through their trees. The first to emerge was Curly. The pirates threw him around like a ball, from Cecco to Smee to Starkey, then Bill Jukes, then Noodler. One by one all the boys were plucked from their trees and tossed around in this manner. It was, to say the least, a different kind of flying than they were used to. The pirates then gagged the boys and tied them up. Uh-oh. So far they're catching all the Lost Boys and they're tying them up. With Wendy, the pirates behaved differently. After all, she was a lady, or rather a little girl, and even pirates have some manners. When she emerged, Hook offered her his arm and bowed so elegantly that she blushed. When they tied her up, they used the softest rope they had, apologizing and making sure that they weren't hurting her. When it came time to tie up Slightly, however, the pirates found that it took far more rope than it had for the other boys, or Wendy. It turned out that Slightly had been sneaking so many snacks lately that he had grown greatly. In fact, there had come a day when he no longer fit in his tree. He's a growing boy. How had he gotten into and out of the cave? Each night while the other boys slept, he had secretly started to widen the hole in his tree. "Why are you so much bigger than the other boys?" Hook demanded. "Why, you're practically as big as a grown-up." While the pirates found extra rope with which to tie him up, Hook had a brilliant idea. He knew how he was going to get Peter, who was still down in the cave. He signaled for the other pirates to take the Lost Boys and Wendy to the ship and leave him alone to his plans. Tiptoeing over to Slightly's tree, Hook saw that it was now wide enough to let him through. He listened for any sound from down below, but all was quiet. Was Peter asleep? He was waiting at the bottom of the tree with his dagger in his hand. So Peter's waiting at the bottom of the tree with his dagger in his hand. So, I wonder if he knew that the tree was getting a little bigger, or he knew that someone might try to sneak in. The only way to find out was to try. Hook took a deep breath, stepped into the tree, and let himself fall. When he hit the ground, he crouched for a second, waiting for his eyes to adjust to the dark of the underground cave. Finally, things began to take shape. In the corner, he saw the great bed, and on it, Peter sleeping. For once, Peter wasn't pretending. He was unaware of what was happening above. Oh, so it was Hook who had the dagger. He believed the Indians had won the battle and that the Lost Boys had gone up to celebrate with them. He was happy for the Indians, but the Lost Boys were going to leave him, and Peter didn't feel like celebrating. Oh, he had pretended not to care, but he was very sad. That was from the previous chapter. And when he got sad, he got sleepy. Today he was so sleepy that he didn't even dream. Wow, so he's really asleep. It was in this sad, deep, dreamless sleep that Hook found Peter. As he stood over the bed and looked down, Hook felt slightly sorry for the boy. After all, Peter was only a child, and Hook wasn't completely evil. But then Peter smiled in his sleep. Perhaps he was dreaming something after all. And that smile seemed so arrogant, it made Hook angry all over again. Remember, Hook's jealous of Peter's happiness and his confidence. Hook saw a glass of water on Peter's night table and knew exactly what to do. In case he should ever be captured, Hook always carried a small bottle of poison with him. Taking it out of his pocket now, he added a few drops to Peter's water. Peter would wake up, take a sip, and fall into the ground dead. With one last satisfied look back, Hook climbed back up Slightly's tree. Once above ground, Hook tilted his captain's hat at a fashionable angle, wound his dark cloak dramatically around himself, and stole away through the forest. So, he didn't go ahead and use his dagger on Peter. He did something else. What did he do again? He dropped it into his water. Okay, guys, I hope you guys have a great day of learning. Miss Crusoe will be on. She just has to go do a computer errand, and I hope you guys have a great day. Happy learning.